Alright, today I'm going to be tightening and torquing the wet bolts on our trailer. I'm going to show you what those are here in a second, but this is something that you should do very often. You want to make sure that your wet bolts are torqued, and you also want to make sure they're greased. I'll show you how to grease and lube your wet bolts in another video, but for this specific video I'm going to show you how to torque them. Now you want to make sure whatever wet bolts you have or whatever RV you have that you're following the manufacturer specs. So for my specific manufacturer, they suggest 40-pound torque. So for this job you're going to need something to hold the nut so it doesn't move in place, and then you're also going to need a torque wrench. In this case I'm using a digital torque wrench, but you can use a manual torque wrench as well. And then you'll also need whatever size fitting that you need to make sure that your bolt is going to be. Hey guys, I wanted to show you the exact torque wrench that I'm using. This is a torque wrench by Gear Wrench. It is an electric torque wrench. It has been very useful. I've used a lot of torque wrenches in the past, a lot of the manual kind of torque wrenches that a lot of you probably have at home, but I wanted to get something that was a little different, so I got this one. It is super easy to program. It allows you to set a lot of different limits and different warning settings to let you know that you're within the torque limits, and I will post a link below so you can check this out for yourself. Alright, so right here is your wet bolt. Now obviously this is just a nut on this side, but I'm going to show you why they call this wet bolt. So this is why it's called a wet bolt. As you can see, there's grease right here. This is what makes it a wet bolt. And in another video, I'm going to show you how you grease these, but in this specific video, we're just going to be torquing this down. Like I said, the manufacturer torque specs say 40 pounds of pressure in order to torque this down. So we're just going to go and get started. Like I said, we're going to be doing 40 pounds of torque for these bolts. So if you have one of these electric ones, then we're just going to set it to 40. I'm going to set that. Saved. We're at 40 pounds. Make sure you have your right adapter and right size. You do not want to strip these bolts. Want to make sure both sides are on there, and then we're just going to tighten it up so we get to our 40. Alright, and you're just going to go around and do all the wet bolts like that. On this trailer it looks like we have 8 wet bolts on each side, so you're going to want to make sure you do every single wet bolt and tighten it, because these are super important to the safety of you and your RV while you're traveling down the road.